everybody, it's Leila Mullen from Be Inspired Horsemanship, and today I want to go over some of the first basic groundwork exercises I do with my horses. These exercises are good for any level horse. I do these exercises every day with all of my horses before I get on. I do them with any horse I pick up on, whether that's a client horse, a horse I'm looking at for someone to purchase, or a new horse, or any time. These are some of the basic groundwork exercises I work on or check out on a horse to know that they're prepared to ride. So we're going to go through a few of those first basic exercises today. And with me today I have Flash. He's my 6-year-old off-the-track thoroughbred. He is still pretty green. He came off the track last fall, late fall, but kind of had the winter off, dealing with some feed issues and some ulcers. So he's just been getting going late spring and a little bit this summer. Flash actually can do all these exercises now. He's progressed to doing them in the bridle, but today we are going to do them in the halter for demonstration purposes for everyone. So I would always start in the halter doing these exercises, and make sure you have your training flag or some sort of flag handy as well. I always like to use that for my groundwork once my horse has kind of gotten used to that. So we're going to start with a few exercises in our groundwork that'll get you started. So if you haven't used a training flag with your horses, then one of the next videos we're going to be doing on Training Tip Tuesday is flag work with horses. So if you do not yet use a flag with your horse, then you can do all of these exercises without it. So I'm going to show the exercises both with and without a flag. Our first exercise we're going to work on today is yielding our front quarters to start our united circle. So we're going to work on making sure the horse yields to you, and we'll do that by working them out and around us onto a circle.
So when I first start working on a horse yielding their front quarters, what I want to think about is clearing those front quarters out of the space around me. I like to think about this space as being a bubble of air between myself and the horse. I never want to have to physically get close enough to have to move the horse physically directly with my aids or my hand. I want my presence or my feel to be able to move the horse. When I'm also working on yielding the front quarters, I like to think about keeping my feet moving and being able to direct with a leading rein. This directing with a rein gives the horse an idea of where you want them to go. I also like to try to remember to keep my feet moving toward the horse. And you can also use your flag once your horses are accustomed to working with the training flags at the horse's eye to help them kind of move and yield that front quarters out and away on your circle. When you're working on this exercise, remember to give lots of small rewards to your horse. This is basically a release of pressure for your horse by letting them stop their feet, or maybe even giving them a small pat. At first, when your horse is learning these exercises, it's important for him to know what you're asking and when he did it correctly. You also want to make the exercise repeatable so that your horse gets to practice answering the question repeatedly.
So another exercise that I work on, especially toward the beginning, is if my horse is a little bit crowdy, or just in general, I like to make sure my horse is going to back up off a feel on the lead rope. This is going to be what we call, in the Buck Brannaman style of horsemanship, backing method 1. So you're just going to stand in front of your horse and just apply a little bit of pressure down toward your hip, and you just want them to back away. So once you know that your horse will back away from you and respect your bubble or your space, and you have your horse yielding laterally away from you out onto your circle, then you're going to start your united circle. The key with these circles is to not go too far at the very beginning. Try to get a nice arc, and then we're going to work on rolling our hindquarters and getting our horse to face up and stop.
So when I'm working on getting my horse to start out on the united circle, I'm going to make sure to yield the front quarter, and then I'm going to direct my horse to move forward with a leading hand. I will then stop my feet and roll my wrist toward the horse's hindquarter to ask him to roll his hindquarters and come to a stop. There's the leading hand. I have my driving hand ready if my horse did not go forward. And then once again, I bump my hand and ask my horse to roll his hindquarters and face up.
So the last exercise I'm going to share today is rolling your horse's hindquarters. As you step into their hindquarters, you just want to make sure that they keep tracking forward with their front leg.
So the key difference in rolling your hindquarters to a stop and rolling your hindquarters all the way around is that you want to keep your feet moving toward the hindquarters. You need to be positioned right at the flank or stifle area on your horse. And then as you want your horse to continue back on the circle, you would stop moving toward the hindquarters and start moving forward on your circle. So once again, you're going to yield your front quarters. You're going to get your horse started on a nice united circle with your leading hand. And then you're going to step into the hindquarter with your hand and your flag, as well as keep your feet moving. Walk that hindquarter all the way around. And then right here, you're going to lead your horse forward back onto your united circle.
So to review, the basic groundwork exercises we have covered today is yielding our front quarters, also getting our horses to back up off of method 1. If you have a horse that tends to crowd you, that's definitely an exercise you should work on. And then starting our arcs and rolling our hindquarters to a stop, and then also rolling our hindquarters all the way around our front quarters and continuing out on our circle. So as you get more comfortable with these exercises, you're going to want to make sure your horse has a little more life, a little more energy during those exercises, and they'll start to kind of flow into kind of dance steps, as Buck would refer to them as. So what you want to do is start linking each of those exercises together in that order until you have kind of a little dance with your horse that you're working on. So thanks for tuning in to our Tuesday training tips. I'm Leila Mullen from Be Inspired Horsemanship. Until next time.